From the second floor of the Rhodes Science Center on the Valley City State University campus, it's time once again for Tost N Jam, presented by Valley City State University. I'm Tim Ulster, Toast, and here he is, my partner, Paul McDonald,
Good
the
morning.
Jam Man.
Good morning. How are you on this fabulous day?
I'm good. We're working on spring.
Yeah, it's spring.
It's that in-between thing that we get snuffed out once in a while. But
I still like this time of year.
Yeah. By the way, did you recover from all that green beer last week?
I only had one.
You had one?
Yes.
It's more than I had.
Yeah. No, I'm a good boy.
Steve, our guest today, Steve Olson, Assistant Athletic Director for Athletic Development. Do you do windows too, or?
Not if I can help it.
Welcome to the show.
We'll save that for the window man.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure having you here. We're going to catch up with Steve. We got lots to talk about. But first, a look at our sports recap. The guy was in Sioux Falls last week. They had 81 day.
85. 85 was the high on Saturday.
What was it Sunday?
High of 44.
It's the in-between thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And at one point, it looked like it was snowing, and the sports information director from Dakota State, who's also the conference SID, he said, "It's snowing." I said, "No, that's sleet, because it hurts."
There is a difference.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back, of course, the Viking baseball team, they were down in Sioux Falls for the Frontier Conference round robin. All 6 teams were down there, played their first 4 conference games of the season down there. Went 1-3. A couple of tough, close losses. Played Bellevue the last game, of course, ranked number 4 in the country. They've been the class of North Star, and now they'll be the class of the Frontier Conference. And 14-11 when the Vikings won the first game of the weekend over Bismarck State. That was their 7th straight win, and they have not had a winning streak of that length in 10 years. 2016, they'd won 9 in a row. That was the last winning streak of that length. But then dropped the next 2 to Dakota State, then Dickinson State, or next 3. And so now they're supposed to be in Bellevue this weekend, so they get 5 straight games with the Bruins. They'll be in Bellevue this weekend for the conference. Softball team, they split their 4 games in Bellevue this past weekend. They're 12-13 overall, opening up conference play. Kennedy Stone was named Frontier Conference Player of the Week, went 8 for 11, had a 727 batting average, a 913 slugging, an 809 on-base percentage. Yeah, she had a good week.
I'd
She had
say
a good
so.
weekend.
That's a career.
Yeah. Only 1 error and 19 chances at first base. So Kennedy Stone gets the Conference Player of the Week nod.
I love that first name.
Yeah,
Kennedy.
Kennedy, yeah.
Yep.
With an A.
With
I
an
spelled
A.
it wrong once, and Mom corrected me, so with an A. But they are going to be hosting this weekend. Now, they got Dakota State coming to town. Friday and Saturday schedules. We'll take a look and see what things shake up. I know the weather's not supposed to be the best on Friday. And so I'm sure Coach Gable is kind of working on the alternatives, and just keep tracking on our social media and on VCSUVikings.com. When we have changes, we will let folks know when and where, if. But more, I'm guessing, knowing what the temperature is supposed to be Friday, we might go Saturday, Sunday. But nothing official until we get the word, and we'll pass that along. Track, they were in Bismarck this past weekend. Frida Barrera continues, took first in the 800 and the 1500. No school records yet. But
Working on that.
Very close, very close. They had 5 first-place finishes. Zeke Barnick was first in the high jump on the men's side. Jordan Mount first in the long jump on the men's side. Grace Backstrom was first in the high jump for the women. They had 11 top 3 finishes and a whole bunch of personal bests. So a good start to the outdoor season. They will be in St. John's this next upcoming weekend in Collegeville at the St. John's Optimistic Invitational. I love that name. It's not the Optimists. It's the Optimistic Invitational, because they're going to be optimistic it's going to happen.
Absolutely. Why not?
That's what's going on.
That's pretty good. I like that.
And golf, of course, they're just getting their swings in with practice and so forth at VCSU. And everybody's quiet right now as far as the Highliners. Indoor track, they've had a couple of indoor track meets. They'll be in Grand Forks coming up this weekend. Baseball just getting started. Softball getting started. Of course, they're all now Class B in baseball. Region 3, New Rockford, South Border, Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion. So they they're in the tough baseball region.
They are.
Softball's in a tough region for softball. And Central Cass, Kindred, who have been the class of Class B for several years, and so that's where the Valley City Highlander softball team is. Track, there in the southeast region. Tennis still in the EDC because there is no Class B tennis. So Coach Nielsen's crew, another great crew. I mean, he had a lot of players back from the last 2 years. Of course, state champs 2 years ago. And they'll be getting started. And they got the nets on the court, and they've already been outside a little bit. So get you caught up on what's going on in sports.
Okay, and a little recap, too. 2 more state champions over the weekend. In high school basketball, it was Beulah in Class A, Central McLean in Class B. They've got a number of athletes. I think Coach Mack was kind of eyeing that quarterback from Central McLean as well. He's pretty good. So 2 more state champs there. Sweet 16 NCAA. My bracket is a mess. How about yours, Steve?
Yeah, mine's a mess, too.
Mess, Paul?
Both teams that I picked to win are now done. I had North Carolina, and I picked Villanova. I know they were an 8th seed, but I picked them to get to the championship along with North Carolina, and they both went 1 and done.
My wife Nancy is beating me in the house bracket as well, so it's a lot of bragging going on the other side of the house. So, well.
For some reason, I thought Wisconsin was going to go to the Final 8, and they didn't quite do that, so that kind of hurts.
Yeah.
You're done there.
Yeah.
How about that Kentucky VCU game?
Yeah, overtime.
Oh, my goodness. Those 2 shots at the end.
Yeah.
That's why it's madness, right?
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
Bison men lose in the first round to Michigan. No surprise
Michigan State.
there. Michigan State, yes. Michigan State. Bison already lost 6 players to the portal, I guess. So,
Wow.
NDSU women, they won over Chattanooga, and then they lose to Columbia. They kind of got embarrassed at home. UND hockey, they'll play Merrimack in the region, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And UND goes into the regions as a number 2 seed. So,
And the bus driver that drove our baseball team to Sioux Falls is taking the UND hockey team to Sioux Falls as well. They're going today, as a matter of fact. They're heading down today. Play starts on Thursday. So, I'm like, hey, Russ, good for you. Maybe you'll bring them better luck.
one more note here. Minnesota Vikings signed Kyler Murray last week. Carson Wentz was signed this week. That adds a little depth to that Viking quarterback room, I guess. I don't know. What's going to happen to JJ here? I wonder.
He's going to have to work hard.
I wonder if he's going to be around.
I think the Vikings owed, Wentz that money for just the game that they let him get abused in.
Yeah, that was total abuse.
That was. It was.
Wow.
And one other thing, just to add to it, I know we talk mostly North Dakota, but go for women. In the Sweet 16 after that great 65-63 buzzer-beating win over Ole Miss. So they got UCLA in the Sweet 16 out in Sacramento this week.
Have they ever been in the Sweet 16?
It's been 21 years.
21 years.
Lindsey Whalen, 21 years ago when Lindsey Whalen was on that team, they did get to the Final Four. But it's been 21 years since they've been to the Sweet 16.
Carson Wentz's dad, Doug Wentz, went to Valley City State for a year.
Okay.
And he was a freshman
We'll
when
claim
I was.
him, right? We'll claim him.
Well,
Oh,
we'll claim him
absolutely.
for, but he was a football and a baseball player. And so I remember taking batting practice with him underneath the football stadium in January, and it was really awful. But he eventually ended up transferring to Northern State in Aberdeen, but he was the first time I saw Carson Wentz, I said, "That's got to be Doug Wentz's kid." I mean, he looks
just like him.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
That's great.
Let's get to our guest, Steve Olson. Steve, again, good to have you here. I like to put you in that category as one of the difference makers here at VCSU. Is that okay?
Put me in whatever category you want. I'll take it.
Meeting the alumni, building relationships, and so forth. You like doing that kind of thing, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously going to school here at Valley City State, it was very formative years of my life. The coaches that I was able to be around, the classes that I took from the coaches that were here certainly helped me throughout my coaching career, and not to mention the education classes that I took from a number of the professors that have long history of developing and growing some of the people that are currently in our education department, which is one of the unique things about Valley City State. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, it was a recruit, and it was like, what makes your education department so special? And I said, it's the people that came before the education department, and it's that continued fostering of, just special people that we have on our campus that continue to grow in that program. So it's a unique thing.
Well, you've got some nice fundraising events coming up. We talked to Kim Hesh last week about the spring auction coming up in April. That's always fun and exciting.
Yep.
Now you've got another one coming up too, the big fish fry.
Absolutely.
Who catches all the fish, by the way?
So, in the past, George Berger, who is an alum, who's a football player, George basically used to catch all the fish, and then he comes in and fries them for us, and he helps us as we cut them and get them prepped the night before. So on Thursday night, we'll be prepping all the fish and making sure that we're going through it and that there's no bones in it. I can't say that every once in a while one doesn't slip out, but we try to make sure that we do everything we can to eliminate that. But George traditionally has caught the fish. Now this year he got some help from Nick Galt, one of our professors here, who's just down the hallway from where we're at right now, and then Larry Brooks. Those guys both helped us to collect some fish, and I think that's a really good thing as we go forward. So we're not putting so much pressure on George, but George will still be there to fry them up and bring his special seasoning in that helps make them taste so good, and then he'll get some help from some other folks, and that's this Friday.
Yeah, I was gonna. Let's back up a little bit. When and where?
Yep. So it's this Friday at the Eagles Club from 5 to 8. And again, one of the things that happens during the event, which is kind of nice, is that we have some drawings and some raffles, for some meat. I shouldn't say drawings, but raffles for some meat. So that type of event is going on while you get a chance to eat a tremendously good meal of fresh fish. The Eagles support us by helping us out to make the other things that accompany the meal. I think there also will be some turkey at the meal, as I understand it, this year. So we'll have fish and turkey, and then the sides that the Eagles put together for us. It's $15 a person, and again, people from 10 and under get to eat free. So if you're bringing in a family and you have kids under 10 years old, they get to eat for free. So it's a tremendous event, a lot of fun.
What kind of fish?
It's a variety of fish,
Okay.
From that is caught over the winter time.
Okay. Walleye predominantly, or?
Well, you're gonna get some walleye. You're gonna get some northern pike. Probably you're gonna get some perch. You're gonna get some crappie. You're gonna get some different varieties of fish.
Let's talk about some other events coming up this spring. What do you have coming up?
Well, obviously we have the spring auction that comes up, and that's April 17th, I believe, is the date on that. It's a Friday night. That's always a fun event. Always, it's the biggest fundraiser that we have during the given year. So right now we're out selling those tickets. It's a red, white, and blue theme. And again, when you look at that, I mean, Valley City State, our colors are red, white, and blue. Cardinal is red, so that fits right in from that standpoint. And then also it being Olympic year was kind of the idea of that red, white, and blue theme. So don't get politics into it, and don't worry about that. If you're concerned about that, let's stay away from that part of it. But it's a fun event. There's live auction items that are going on. There's an auction that's on the side that is happening that closes up around the time that the event starts. An online auction that happens. It's a great meal, and it's a fun night. So we're looking forward to that one as well.
And we mentioned last week too. It kind of ties into America's 250th birthday.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. I was out and about this morning and had to stop by the Tharaldson Sports Facility. That is something else. If you haven't seen it since day one, it's a whole lot different right now. I took some pictures as well. Very, very impressive building, and it is going up. But how about maybe a little recap on what's going on there?
Yeah. So as we're going forward right now, if you've been by there and you've noticed that we've been on a little bit of a delay. The foundation is up, the frames are up, the roof is put on. Everything from here, we've been on a little bit of a pause as we're waiting for the ground to thaw. So they need to do some compaction testing around the base and the frame of the building to make sure that they're getting the soil packed in as tightly as they need to, so that everything is going to be secure and solid, and then from there going forward, then once they get by that, they'll start to put up the sidewalls and the end walls, and then obviously there's a lot of work that'll go on inside of that. That should continue through until November is when we're expected to be able to be in there, which is exciting. What I'm really looking forward to is obviously everybody to be able to use that facility, for just so many things. Tremendous benefit to our track program. Now all of a sudden you can use it, but you don't have to go out to the winter show building, which they've done for years. You don't have to do track in the bubble. You get an opportunity to go run those, and it's got lanes off to the side of the football field, straight runways, straight lanes, and then there's pits that they'll be able to use in there, and they'll be able to put their high jumps. So it'll be tremendous from a standpoint with that sport. Other sports are going to be able to use it from a standpoint of just their training, their running, they're working with the strength coach as we get into phase 2 and the new weight room comes into that part. That will be extremely nice for every program. But baseball and softball will be probably the biggest benefactors to an extent, along with football, obviously, for the things that they will be able to do. Softball will be able to play games in there, so we're looking forward to that. We're hoping that everything stays on schedule, and that next February there's softball games being played in that new facility. So we're excited about everything that's coming along with that, and going forward as we go forward to phase 2. That's the second part of it, where there'll be additions that'll go into the north end of it, which will include weight room, an athletic training room, an equipment room, locker rooms for football and men's and women's basketball. So they will come right out onto their bench on the south end, right from their new locker rooms when that's complete. And then there's a nice storage area, because we will need obviously storage in those facilities. Eventually on the south end of the bubble, the north end of that building, we will have a legacy lounge, which will be a nice area for alumni to gather and to hold different functions from that standpoint. And then there will be a mezzanine, so you'll be able to go up above, overlook the turf area, and then that area will be turfed as well, and they'll be able to have batting cages in there, and then there'll be team rooms off to both sides that'll house other teams. Well, they will have a place to stay. They're not locker rooms because they won't have showers, that sort of thing. They won't have bathrooms, but they will have a place. They will have lockers. They will have a nice space for those teams to be able to put their stuff, especially for like the track and field teams.
Very exciting times coming up, I tell you. That sounds really great. How about a little update on the floor in the bubble?
Yeah, so obviously we had some damage. We had an incident that happened right after the Barnes County tournament, where we had a coil that sprung a leak, bringing water from our boiler to the heat exchange system that is currently in the bubble. The ironic thing is that March 15th, that whole system was planned to be moved out and taken offline as we get new HVAC system in the new building and the bubble. But unfortunately, that happened on a Sunday, somewhere between 8 in the morning and 8 p.m. And we got water that got onto the floor and caused damage and suspended our seasons for both men's and women's basketball and for other functions that we would have had in the bubble. We were still able to practice on the north end of the building and still able to have a full court in there to be able to run practices, but not nearly what we've had in the past. You don't have as many baskets. You don't have some of those opportunities for our teams. But as we go forward now with the floor, what will end up happening is that, again, with the new HVAC system, those big air handlers that sit up above the bubble, those big white things that, those will be coming down. Those will be removed. The boiler will be removed. And new HVAC systems will be put in place and all of those things. So once all of that is completed, then they will go in and they will do the work on the floor. And that floor will be remove the parts that were damaged and fixed, and then everything will be sanded down and repainted and finished up, and we will be back in there as we go forward next year into the fall and into basketball season. So we're excited about that.
No kidding. As we wrap up the sports year, how do you feel about that first year in the Frontier Conference, new conference?
Well, we all know that it's a challenging conference. It's a very good league. What they end up doing, or what they've done traditionally in the Frontier Conference, is that they haven't had every sport under the sun. They've had the sports that they've wanted to have at each school. But they've been very good in basketball. They've been very good in volleyball. They've been very good in football. And that still continues to hold steadfast as far as what they are good at. And so it's a challenge both from a standpoint of, distance traveled, financial piece of it, figuring out what's the best way to travel. How do you get out there? How do you move your teams? All of those type of things. So it's been a challenge, but it's been a good year too. I think our teams have gone out and competed very hard. I mean, I look at our women's basketball team, and so many games they were in the game for 18 or 19 minutes, right down to the final few baskets, and didn't win as many as we would like to, but competed extremely well. I thought our men's basketball team, fought very hard. It was a fun team. A lot of really good young players on the men's basketball side. So I'm excited about what their future is going to bring. There's always work that you have to do in this day and age of transfer portals and NIL, and some of that stuff always comes into play, just like you were mentioning with NDSU's basketball team. But that's the new landscape of athletics. So there's always going to be those challenges that you have to do, and every year you got to try to figure out how you put a competitive team out there, a team that can go out there and have fun. I still say, hey, you get a chance to come out to the bubble and watch basketball games. You get a chance to come out to Locken Stadium and watch those football teams. You're watching some very good football teams that are playing and competing, and to me, it's a lot of fun when you get a chance to see people of that caliber. Some of those basketball teams that came in here were very, very good basketball teams.
Not only good teams, but nationally good teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the big thing. Do you see any, or you guys see any changes for next year? Any big changes coming your way in the Frontier?
Right now, I don't. I just think it's going to be another year where we're getting back to, getting more familiar with the league and getting more familiar with what it is we need to do to compete and be more successful in it. Again, if you're making the playoffs out of the Frontier Conference, there's no reason in any of these sports why you can't win a national championship.
Yeah,
And that to me is a real key thing about this conference. It's good, so as you come out of it, you're ready, you're battle tested, and you can go beat anybody.
And that's every game. You can't slough off.
That's right.
You've got to compete game in, game out,
Yep.
and that's what it's all about. But hey, it gets us better too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What have you heard from alum about the Frontier Conference? Have they said, "God, this is a fun conference and it's good for Valley City State"? Have you had any conversations with former players? Or
Yeah, I mean, we've had some conversations about it. I mean, the biggest comment that comes out is just it's the travel piece, that comes out from most alumni. It's like, man, those are long trips, and so yes, they are. I was at a school previously where those were norm trips, right? So that's not out of the aspect of what travel can be as you compete, and so that's the piece that has come out of most of the alumni. It's the travel piece, and I still think a lot of the alumni still love the idea of some of the old teams that we used to play against and compete against and have great crowds that showed up for and all that part of it. So, there's some fondness, some fond memories from some of that with some of those teams that we formerly played.
Yeah.
Still fondness with some of the teams that we do play.
Yeah, not every weekend you can jump in your car and drive over to a game.
Correct.
Right.
Maybe two.
Right.
That's about it.
Right.
Instead of every weekend.
And that's the beauty of
makes
this
a
day
big
and age
difference.
with video streaming. And,
Yes,
and,
yeah.
and
Yep.
our YouTube page where you can still watch Viking athletics from wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything else you'd like to pass on, Steve?
There's a couple of pieces that I would, or one piece that I would for sure would love to talk about. It was a tremendous opportunity that we had this year at Valley City State. Unfortunately, with the bubble, we had the floor incident that came up. But we were set, thanks in part to Calvin Kraft, who obviously is the athletic director at Enderlin, and the work that we did with the Barnes County tournament and the district tournaments that we hosted, where we were able to bring in continued district tournaments and regional tournaments that were planned and scheduled to be at the bubble. Unfortunately for us, we had the floor incident, but fortunately for us, we had another venue in Valley City that we were able to host at. And, and again, I want to just say thanks again to Rob Hunt, to Josh Johnson, for allowing us to come over and host and keep games in Valley City. We lost the Region 1A basketball tournament with the girls because they didn't want Valley City High School to have an advantage of hosting that tournament. And so that went to Fargo. But the other two, the District B boys district tournament and the Regional B boys tournament, came to Valley City. We still were able to host that. Was still a very well-run tournament. Thankful to the high school for that. Aaron Heck did a tremendous job in making sure that everything was taken care of from that standpoint. The Valley City High School booster people that came in and run concessions, they did a tremendous job. Our Kiwanis club in town came out and sold tickets for the regional tournament. So there was a lot of really positive things that happened in Valley City. And we were very happy to be able to host that tournament and very happy to be able to keep two of the three tournaments that we were supposed to have at the end of the year here. Also, we sold booklets, for those tournaments, and one of the booklets we had to ship down to Fargo, but we ended up having 5 booklets. We sold those to people for the same price that we'd sold 3 the previous year. An extra opportunity and a piece for some of the sponsors and the people that bought into those programs. And those programs were donated, they're given then to the fans that came to the game. And then we also had QR codes so they could look them up on their phone and get a PDF file, but for our advertisers, to me, it was a tremendous piece, and we're very thankful for them to be able to provide such a service. And it really is something that was recognized by all the people that went to those regional tournaments and went to those district tournaments from that standpoint. So we're looking forward to hopefully being able to get back to hosting tournaments in the future.
And the money that brings into Valley City. It's tremendous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Wow. You had the winter show right next to it. You got the tournaments.
Yep.
Keeps the economy going.
Absolutely. It was a busy time of the year.
We like that. Valley City,
absolutely.
like I said, yeah. All right.
And some great basketball.
Yeah.
Well,
anything else? Anything?
While you got me, I'll just say this, spring baseball's here, and so obviously I was a baseball player back when I when I went to school
My kind of
here at
guy.
Valley City State. So I have a very much an appreciation for what it is that the baseball and the softball teams are going through, along with the other teams. The track teams, everybody in the spring of the year, you battle and you fight weather, and you do your best to get out there and compete and get after it and have fun. But for me, a lot of very good memories of playing baseball at Valley City State University. So I just wanted to say that.
1975. I don't think we played one regular season game on the conference schedule.
Right.
We went right into the tournament.
Yeah.
That was our spring baseball that
Right.
year.
Yep.
You never know.
Right. And I can remember years where Mayville State would have played and not had a home game, and went on to a regional tournament.
Sure.
We did everything we could under the sun to try to figure out how we could play games, and so we usually managed to do that, whether it was rolling big snowballs out in the outfield and rolling them to the fences, or whatever it was. But it was always the case, if you open up little tracks, then snow will start to melt and things will shine through and you get some green showing and everything melts.
I do have one more thing, and I missed this. And this guy played a big role at Valley City State for a long time, and that's Daryl Anderson, who passed away recently.
Yep.
And a great guy, got to know him too, and just another one of those great people at Valley City State.
Absolutely. Daryl's be one of those guys that I mentioned having class from. He was the basketball coach when I first came to school here, and then he became the athletic director, and Dave Knowles would have ended up taking over the basketball program. So my first year, Daryl Anderson was the head coach. My second year, Dave Knowles was the head coach, and obviously, couple of years ago, we had the 84-85 basketball team that came back for a reunion. That was a Dave Knowles coach team, but Daryl Anderson would have been very involved in bringing a lot of those folks, to Valley City State. And obviously he did a lot. I would have had an administration class from him in the bubble. So one of those many people, Jim Dew, Dave Bass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bob Parker eventually came in as the basketball coach after Dave Knowles left. So tremendous legacy of good coaches, and I would have had classes from a lot, from many of those guys.
And Daryl had two kids that did pretty well themselves. Cammie Anderson, of course, Justin Anderson. I believe he played with Shaq at LSU.
Yeah.
There's some bloodline there too.
Well, Cammie was such a good player. When you'd have a Saturday afternoon pickup game over at the Armory, Cammie was out there playing with the guys and competing. She was a tremendous player.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, one thing that would be remiss to let you get away without just reminding folks too. One thing we talk about, you talked about your time here in the '80s, and that was kind of a golden age too of Viking athletics. A lot of conference championships between '80 and '89, All-Americans, national tournaments, so forth. But the Viking lore that we do, the photo of the day in Viking timeline. If you're out there and you're watching this and you don't have to be an athlete, but if you're a fan of Viking athletics, send us a story that you might have heard or knew about. And because I'm getting to your era now when we get into our timeline, the mid '80s, and there were some outstanding athletic teams in the mid '80s here.
Well, the baseball team that I played on, when I think about the people that were on that team and in the success that they would have had, from a standpoint of being in our Hall of Fame or recognition that they would have got nationally as All-Americans in different sports. I mean, Tyler Schlecht, unbelievable shortstop, unbelievable wide receiver, Darren Lowe, tremendous pitcher, tremendous athlete, great quarterback, and just, probably could have hit more. I got to play summer ball. I grew up with Darren, so we played together since we were, 10 years old. He grew up on a farm between Pearlie and Georgetown, Minnesota. His grandparents lived in Ada, so he'd come over and play Little League baseball with us. So it was always fun. We played amateur baseball together, Legion baseball together for a short period, and then Halstead decided to start a team because they had some really good players. But tremendous player. Corey Anderson, from our foundation officer. Corey was a tremendous pitcher, smart, played third base, very good. Scott Newstead was a tremendous second baseman, ended up being the athletic director at Bismarck High School. Aaron Cromlech, who was inducted into our Hall of Fame, played right field for us in '87. And you could just, just go through there. My catcher, Dan Jeanette, was fun, and Tim Pinky from Valley City was he and I were seniors together on that baseball team in '87, and Tim was a tremendous player. We won a conference tournament, right, and went on to to the districts and won there, and then went on to a regional tournament. But we had Darren Lowe on the mound, and Mayville had to beat us twice, and we had the game. What we thought was wrapped up, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, and so we had to play an extra game against them, and they had one of their top pitchers on the mound, Ron Borrow, who's a tremendous pitcher, and Tom Smargessi took the mound for us, a freshman, pitched 5 great innings. Tim Pinky came in, threw a few more, and then Darren Lowe came back in after throwing into the 9th inning in the earlier game. He came back in to close it out, and we beat Mayville, and it advanced to a district tournament where we won handily in a couple of games there, and then advanced to a regional tournament where, in the regional tournament it was Wayne State of Nebraska, who of course is a Division II school, Emporia State, who of course is a Division II school now, and Southeast Oklahoma State, who of course was a Division II school now. And some of the players on those teams were outstanding. Jeff Fry, that ended up playing second base for the Boston Red Sox, was on Southeast Oklahoma State's team. He was their leadoff hitter. And just tremendous level of baseball that was being played at that regional tournament.
Wow. Good stories.
Dan Jeanette, I went to high school with Dan.
You know?
That's crazy. Good stuff, though.
Yeah.
Hey.
So,
Well, today in sports history, let's
do it.
move on. 1980,
I remember it well.
42nd NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Louisville beats UCLA 59-54. Cardinals' first title in first title game. That doesn't happen all the time, does it? 1988, San Diego Chargers quarterback Dan Fouts announces his retirement after 15 seasons. 2019, another football story. New England Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski announces his retirement as three-time Super Bowl winner. Tight end postseason record, most receptions 81, receiving yards 1163, receiving TDs 12. Not bad for a Super Bowl.
yeah, that's pretty good.
That'll get her done.
Sports birthdays today. I can remember this guy. Born on this day, 1938, but I think we remember this guy. He was a tough-nosed football player. Larry Wilson, Hall of Fame free safety, played for the Cardinals. Born on this day, 1942, Jesus Alou, Dominican MLB baseball outfielder, played from 63 to 79. Pat Bradley is 74 today, American golfer. Peyton Manning, 49. He seems older than that, though, doesn't he? Or am I just off?
Well, you're just getting older.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Okay. Peyton Manning is 49. Football quarterback, Super Bowl 2006. Other birthdays today. Wrestler The Undertaker is 60 today. On this day, 1989, Chicken, Kentucky. First partial birth of a chicken in space. Chicks in space, born in the Space Shuttle Discovery.
Well, you were digging for that one.
I really dug for that. And then I got this one. Okay, I got this one. Glenn.
Okay, Glenn,
Glenn
buddy from Minneapolis.
Summerfield.
Yeah.
One of our biggest fans. Happy birthday, Glenn, number 62.
Oh, he's a young buck.
He is 62 today, Glenn, one of our faithful listeners.
Yeah. I might mention
Yeah.
real quick, because I feel bad. I forgot to mention Stacy Fitterer that played left field for us on that '87 baseball team. And,
Okay.
and there's two names that I can throw out there of people that I've seen that in the history of Valley City State are probably the two best hitters that I personally witnessed hitting and playing. Stacy Fitterer, tremendous left-handed hitter. And is in our Valley City State Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And Scott Radloff.
I was going to say that too. Yeah,
and
that
Scott
was,
Radloff is also in our Valley City Hall of Fame. And those two guys are the best two hitters that played at Valley City State that I've witnessed. Now, there may be others, but those two guys were tremendous.
playing in a softball tournament back in the late 80s in Brookings, and we played against Scott's team.
Yep.
He hit a home run to center field in softball with about a 40-mile-an-hour wind in his face, and it was cleared by much. Yes, tremendous hitter. Yeah, no, definitely. Joke of the day from the granddaughters in Minot. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
All the big girls are with Jake today. Jake Filling played football here at VCSU. Let me call him quick. Here it is. What is harder to catch the faster you run? What is harder to catch the faster you run?
Your breath?
Yes. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
That's really good.
We're giving away the chicken, that space chicken. Oh, goodness.
I only know
Hey.
that because it's true for me.
Walking is hard enough, let alone running. But hey, that's going to do it. That's all she wrote for this week's Toast N Jam. Want to thank our guest again, Steve Olson. Always a pleasure talking to you, Steve. And our production team headed up by Mark Potts. He's back there. He's quiet. He's so quiet all the time. He's still quiet. Toast N Jam presentation, of course, presented by Valley City State University, and we broadcast from the Road Science Center. Paul, any final words at all?
Just remember, Apple Podcast, Spotify, VCSU of YouTube page is where you can find us, toastandjam.com. And when you do go to Spotify and Apple Podcast and the YouTube page, like us and subscribe. and you'll be notified when we have another episode. And so and then watch social media. We have clips throughout the week. You'll be able to see on our social media on Facebook and Instagram and on X.
Had lunch with one of our buddies, Ronnie Lee.
Ronnie Lee,
he catches that on Facebook. He says, "Hey, you guys are still doing that thing?" I said, "Yes,
we
are."
Oh yeah,
and, going strong. Until next week, Toast and Jam saying bye-bye, wishing everyone a great week.